watching a master at work.
You ready? Let's go. Yeah. For those of you that want to know what we're all about, it's like this, y'all. This is 10% luck, 20% skill, 15% concentrated power of will, 5% pleasure, 50% pain, and 100% reason to remember the name.
Welcome to UPTV Channel 6, Tell It Like It Is. I'm sitting here looking like the great pumpkin, orange and blue, Illini. I don't even know the final score, don't need to, because I know when we were coming on air, they had a 4-point lead and Trent Meacham going to line, so that means we got victory in hand. Welcome, 60 minutes. Last couple weeks we've been doing song, comedy, and dance. Tonight, it's just going to be all basketball. First of all, I want to turn to the right to the true Illini fan. I'm just dressed like an Illini fan. You know, they sell the stuff, but the guy over here, Big Wayne.
I'm calling it. I called it 3 weeks ago.
What'd you
halfway
call?
there.
What'd you call? What'd you call?
We in the Big Ten tournament, and we in the big dance.
Okay.
Did I not call it 3 weeks ago?
Yeah, you did. And last week you was dressed as a chicken box in basketball.
I was on, I was a roving reporter for the Maroons.
Yeah.
I was out on duty last week.
And you did a great job. Excellent job. You brought them through. To my left, wait a minute, don't talk about my thumb. You just wait. Slappy White a couple weeks ago, and now it's birthday boy.
Hey, yeah. How you doing?
Sean Bundy Green, happy birthday to you, man. You know what?
21, like you.
You were 21 like I was last week.
Yeah.
I feel bad, too.
You one of them leap babies.
You know, I feel real bad sitting here, and the fact that we ain't got no cake, no cold duck, no chicken,
Nothing.
no half a biscuit. You gave me half a biscuit last week.
And some chicken. I gave you a couple pieces of chicken. Some bones.
And that wasn't even chicken. That wasn't even chicken.
If you was on an island,
That chicken
if you
had-
on a deserted island, you'd ate it.
Well, but I'm here at the government building, and that chicken had SARS. I thought that chicken came straight from China. I wasn't eating on that. Stat girl, how you doing?
You going to Cancun.
You going where?
Cancun, Mexico.
Ain't nobody supposed to know? They ain't supposed to know?
I wasn't supposed to know.
Oh, well, we know now.
Accompany that.
Well, okay, well, we won't tell nobody. Spring break for you, right?
Yes.
1 week, 2 weeks, 3 weeks?
One.
One. So you driving to Cancun or flying?
Putting you on the spot. Putting you on the spot. You got 10 seconds. And
Knowing you, Stat Girl, you driving. Well, thanks for coming out, UPTV Channel 6, Tell It Like It Is. We got a special guest here tonight.
who's that beside you?
This guy's sitting, he is a basketball legend. You know, we see here, you know how you talk basketball and then other people know basketball?
Yeah, because apparently y'all don't know it. according to a phone call a couple weeks ago.
Right, I'm a copycat.
No,
Apparently.
you don't.
I don't know. Right, I don't know it. Right, he didn't say y'all. Dude said me. And D1 Juan, I know you're sitting out there watching, still reminiscing on your old D1 career. Give us a hit.
Play that.
We'll find out tonight because we're going to
He wanted to call tonight.
He going to call because, you know why he going to call? Because this man sitting to my right, this man is a local man, but he's doing things on a national level.
Big things.
He is the head coach at St. Thomas More. He has his own AAU program, Illinois Elite, and his son is one of the most highly sought after juniors in the state of Illinois. Tonight we welcome James Kenny Sr.
Thank you for having me.
Appreciate you coming on, man. All right, yeah, give him applause. Give him applause. Now, this, I'm gonna tell you right now, this is like the Middle East, like the Palestinians and the Israelis, because this is a centennial. Right? Yeah, he went to the wrong school.
Right. And he went to the other high school.
I asked some, several Central alums today. I asked them, I said, how many schools in Champaign? They told me 2. I said, you ain't no alum.
No, there's only one. There's one school in Champaign.
And the annex.
And then the other folks go to that other one.
The annex.
That's what
Right,
it is.
Brand X. But we're gonna forget Brand X tonight. Coca-Cola gonna forget Brand X because he's a guest here in our house, UPTV Channel 6. He's gonna share a lot of information and wisdom. But we're gonna jump right into the thing we're talking about. 40 years ago, Clyde Turner in the game.
You remember that too, don't you? You reminiscing.
I'm thinking, because
Harry Combs Jim.
see, there you already messing up. It was Huff Jim. Huff Gym, Champaign Central took on Proviso East and lost by 1 point, 37-36.
Who scored it? Who-
I ain't gonna share all that with you. See, we ain't talking about the Kentucky State Championship where Jethro kicked it in and they won 3-2 on a field goal. We're not talking about Kentucky.
No matter.
We talking about the original March Madness, Illinois high school basketball, and Champaign Central today got an opportunity to play in the state. Like I said, it's been 40 years. A lot of guys have gone through those doors and had an opportunity to get where they got to. We tried to get there, but we didn't succeed in climbing that mountain. And I want to say, before we even start talking about this, that not only did they put Central back on the map, they put Champaign back on the map. And for that, I want to say thank you, Coach Davis, and all the players, coaches, managers over there.
Good job.
Good job. Excellent job. Here. But unfortunately, we didn't get to the pinnacle, which was a championship game.
Joe, it was right there.
It was
there.
You was at the door.
at the door.
You
It
had
was
it
like
open,
Mercury
too.
Morris. We was on their street.
Oh, man, on their porch.
On the
No,
porch.
you wasn't. No, you wasn't.
Champaign Central took
the street.
We was on the street. We didn't
We
get
was
up on
at
the
the end of
sidewalk.
We was at the end of the driveway,
When
buddy.
you on the porch,
We was at the end of the driveway, man.
no, porch, and when you see two numbers up there, and that last number's going real fast.
Oh, is that
That's
what
when
it
you're
is? You on the porch.
But when you ain't on the porch, and you got them three numbers up there, and they going tick, tock, tick, tock.
Yep. Central jumped out today, played excellent basketball, had a 8-point lead at half, 9-point lead at the end of the third quarter against Chicago Simeon, the two-time defending state champs. This was our first time going into the four-class system, so we're playing 3A basketball. And with about 4 minutes left in the game, the wheels started slowly coming off the wagon.
Took a page out the orange and blue, man.
And unfortunately, we couldn't hold on. Like Wayne Bundy said, we were right there. And Champaign Central went down to defeat 51-46 to the Simeon Wolverines. Bundy, I'm gonna turn to you since you from south of the Mason-Dixon line.
Yes, sir.
And, did you get to see the game today?
I got to saw a little bit of it. I've been traveling across the United States today.
Okay. What was your impressions, first of all, what you got to see today?
I sit there, I was amazed, man, because first of all, I mean, with the talent Central had this year, I didn't think they can go to Peoria like the past teams they had, but kudos to them. But the thing about it, when they get so close, it seems like they shut down their offense. You got to keep playing. Once you get up there, you got to keep playing because you got a three-point line that's deadly.
Right.
If you don't believe me, ask the New York Knicks when Reggie Miller was in town.
Man, I can't even believe you disrespected my Knicks in referencing Reggie Miller like that.
Knicks fan too, but man, it hurt. But the thing about it, I know you didn't play basketball, you play football. I mean, there's nothing like.
Wait a minute, let me stop you right there. You pointed at him like he just never played basketball.
He was a football player.
I played basketball.
He played basketball
Okay,
too,
he
man.
played basketball. But I'm telling you guys, ain't nothing like playing in the state tournament, and at the end of the night, you are the champs.
Yeah.
I had a taste of it in high school. I mean, it's a beautiful thing. As they say, it's a beautiful thing.
You,
but
wait a minute, hold up. You said you had a taste of it in high school?
Yeah.
You have height reduction surgery or something? You used to be 6'10"?
no, football.
For a minute. He said that like he was West Sunset or somebody. You scared me for a minute, like you was the best low post player in Kentucky.
But the thing about, I mean, you're going to hear people going to talk about it was the coach's fault.
Nah.
It's not the coach's fault. It's the players. The players made bad decisions. You should know anytime during the game what happened. Simeon put a press on them, and they act like they ain't never been pressed before in their
Right,
life.
like it's the end of the year. I know they've seen a press before.
Now, Big Wayne,
Time and time again, they dribble into the corner, picking up the dribble. Yeah, that's not going to get it done.
do you think that playing the game Tuesday against Mount Vernon, where Mount Vernon played more of a controlled, slow-down game, do you think that had any
Shock.
effect?
It was a shock to them.
You think it was a shock to their
I
system?
mean, just playing two different styles of game. One team takes 26 passes before they shoot the ball. You know, that you play Simeon, and they constantly running at you on defense, constantly hacking at the ball. It's a total different mindset that you got to adjust from 3 days ago to now, But that said, Central was in the game. the whole game. They led all the way up until, what, 3 minutes left?
Actually, you're correct. They were in the game till about 3 minutes left. Coach Kenny, I know you can break it down from a coach's perspective.
Well, I mean, on my personal opinion, I believe that Central did play well. They played a really good game until the press came on. When the press came on, they didn't know how to respond. And one thing, I don't want to talk bad about the coach because I think he's a great coach. He's been around a long time. He does have the credentials as a good coach. But I think one of the problems was that he didn't create or he didn't have a press breaker in his entourage of plays that could have broken down the press. When Simeon threw the press on, Central couldn't respond, and so that's how the tables.
Can I cut you off? Do you think that was personnel or as far as actual setting up the plays? Because I seen the guards, Central guards, for example, Culver, Verdell Jones, they trying to constantly getting the ball swiped from him. Do you think it was a person? I mean, who else could he have time to?
Well,
Or what do you do?
I'm not sure. I think that regardless of who he had in the game, if they would have had a press breaker that was part of their routine when the press comes on, then I think they would have responded better, and I think they would have came out with a different outcome had they had a press breaker, several press breakers involved in that.
I think a big key at the end of that game too. Ducky was not at full strength. I mean, he wasn't able to. He was bringing the ball up in the first half. He took a knee. They bumped knees, him and Simpson.
Yeah.
And I noticed the whole fourth quarter he was limping, so I don't think he was at full strength. And maybe he could have been a little better, at the end of the game if he wasn't hurt.
I agree.
One of the things you talked about personnel. I think everybody knows Central only goes about 6 or 7 deep.
Yeah.
Especially in the past couple of weeks, they've only been playing about 6 or 7 players. Do you think fatigue had anything to do with the past that, the old saying, fatigues make cowards out of any man? Do you think that had a lot to play with in the fourth quarter due to the fact they only ran 6 or 7 guys out there?
Personally, I don't believe so. I believe that when the press came on, they panicked and they sort of fell apart. I think that's what happened. I don't think fatigue played a role. I really don't.
Bum, what about you?
Man, it's young kids. You know what I mean? You're so close. You think about, you look at the clock, you're like, man, we up 10. We playing tomorrow in the ship. And you're thinking about it, and all of a sudden, this wall come down. You're like, uh-oh, what I do now? And like Coach Kenny said, they didn't respond. I mean, if you had a press, I'm not a basketball player, I ain't a basketball coach. I can be one, got to stay at the Holiday Inn Express. But I mean, if you like I said, if you go keep the ball in the middle, I swear, if you keep the ball in the middle of the floor, that'll eliminate. Because you go a double team on the sideline, not only you have 2 men over there, you got a third man out of bounds line.
Yeah, the problem with that, the person they had in the middle of the floor was not a ball handler, and we all know, it was somebody missing this week that I think would have been a big difference of being in the middle of that floor against that press because he's a better ball handler than the guys that they had out there. You throwing the ball into Layman, he's not accustomed to making passes against that pressure. I just think maybe he could have switched around, maybe put Ducky in the middle of the court. That way, when he gets the ball, he can, push it up and make a better decision on who to pass to.
Well, I know you talked earlier about statistics and being up 10 and started looking at the clock, and it seems like the clock stopped slowing down for you.
Slowed down.
7:28 in the fourth quarter, Central was a +10. And then if you look down at the stats, with 40 seconds left in the game, they were -3. Yep. So, it was a 13-point swing in a 7-minute time span. You guys talked about the press. We've talked about personnel. But let's go to the flip side. Talk about Simeon for a second. Good. Do you think the experience of being a 2-time defending state champion helped them knowing that, okay, it's a 4-quarter game, crunch time, doesn't matter if we're tied or down 10, we know what it takes to get there, even though this is a different team from the past couple of years?
Right. To go what you said, I mean, we concentrating so much on what Central did wrong. We got to give Simeon credit, man. They came back and took that game. It's not – the press is designed to force action and force other teams to make decisions. That's what Simeon did, and it worked to their favor, and they came back and took the game.
What they did, was quit going to the big man.
Oh,
The
my
guards penetrate to the
God.
basket.
Speaking of, wow.
That's exactly
Speaking
what happened.
of.
I mean, if you see, they was force feeding the big man. I was listening to the game. I was coming across state. I had the satellite up. I was listening to the game. You know, they were forcing passes in to the big man instead of them running the offense, spreading around. So I got home and got to see it on the television screen. It's like, okay, the big man. You saw at the end of the game, he's out the game.
Yeah, and that's when they made their run. Coach, how impressive you of the big man, Simpson?
What can you say? What can I say? Incredible athlete. I mean, what else can you say?
He's coming. He's
Incredible,
coming here.
incredible athlete. Incredible athlete.
We gonna have him.
Yeah, he'll be wearing orange and blue. Now, Simpson, he did have 16 points and 6 rebounds in today's game. I think Keith Biggers gave him all he could handle down low. I think Keith played an excellent game. I think Coach Kenny can attest to this. If you look at 3 stats when it comes to basketball, I always talk about this, your rebounds, turnovers, and your shooting percentage. You look at those 3, doesn't matter who's playing. If you look at the box score, you usually can tell who won. In this case, Central had some problems on the board with Simeon in terms of the second chance putbacks in the second part of the game. The other thing, turnovers. We talked about the press. Central had 19 turnovers, and their big 2 had 5 each. You know, and when you get to a game like that, you need those guys to carry you through. But with all that being said, and like I said, it didn't come out the way we wanted it to come out. We gave them a round of applause at the beginning of the show, and now I'm gonna give them that. I'm gonna pull it all the way up.
They
this
played
man.
hard. You know,
What's that?
See that thumb? I'm gonna give them a big thumbs up because,
Extension thumb.
They
as I
played
said
hard,
earlier,
man. They
that-
played
They
hard.
played hard.
you haven't had a team get there in 40 years. Last time a team of any sort in Champaign made it to the state, that was Champaign Centennial back in 1984. So big kudos to Champaign Central. Now, I mean, the great thing about the new setup with the 4 classes is it's not a one and done situation on Friday. You go in and play. If you lose, you still got an opportunity to play in the consolation game on Saturday. Now, they go up against Washington, and Washington gave Marshall all they could handle today, but fell a little short. Matt Roth, the most
Sims.
prolific three-point shooter in Illinois high school basketball history. Give me a little synopsis of what do you think is going to happen tomorrow with Central and Washington.
First of all, Verdell is going to have to keep Sims out the paint because from what I saw, that's where all the threes came from, him getting inside and kicking it out to Roth. And I think Ducky's a good enough athlete to stay with Roth. He's long enough to contest the jumper. So if Verdell can stay in front of Sims and kind of control him a little bit, they'll be all right. And Central might be a little bit too strong for him down low.
Okay. Bun, any comments? I know, like I said, Matt Roth, I mean, you know, they got Bradley written across the court, and he was shooting from the lead.
Right.
He was standing in the lead when he was shooting his threes. Oh, man.
But
Sometimes he wasn't even in the frame. You know, I was looking on a little 5-inch screen,
Yeah.
and I hit the ball. You see the ball, you wouldn't see him. He
can shoot it.
Yeah, he can shoot it. So
the thing about it, you hope Central don't. I mean, they had the biggest
big game
letdown
today, right.
You know, they bubble been burst. Boop. So, do you play this game tomorrow for a third place championship, and your seniors' last game, or do you just go out there and show up?
You always
the-
play for pride, man. I mean, anytime you step on the court, you
But
you
the
play
thing
to
about,
win.
I mean, you gotta look at Wayne. These high school kids, and
They still
your
athletes.
ship is sunk.
Hey, Washington was in that game too. Now they
Yeah,
they was down to the wire. They
But the
probably
thing
could have been
about it,
busted
do you have a
too.
big, do you have a big letdown the next day?
Do they?
yeah.
Well, we'll find out at 11 o'clock tomorrow.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, that's pretty early. Coach Kenny, what do you think is going to happen?
I think that you know, it can go either way. It just depends on who plays well. Central with Verdell, if Verdell shows up and plays really well, I think Central will be tough to beat. But on the other hand, you have Roth on the other side. If he plays well, I think it's a toss-up. I really do. I think it's a toss-up, and it depends on who plays well. If I was Central, one of my game plans would be to, if I'm Coach Davis, is to drop a press breaker. What if they throw the press on again? Do we panic?
Yeah,
or do
everybody
we,
in the state saying that.
or do
Right.
we have a backup plan this
Right.
time? So those are a couple of things that I would look at.
I know to go I don't think if they did, though, it won't be as vicious as Simeon's press. So it might
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah, I don't
That's
think
true.
Washington
That's
has
true.
the
That's true.
athletes.
That was a vicious press.
It
man.
was.
That was vicious.
I took notes from it. Trey.
We say you're gonna put that in your repertoire. huh?
Absolutely, absolutely. I locked it in today. I locked it in
Good,
today.
good
You can
coach
always
has
take
no
notes,
problem
but if you
adjusting.
ain't got the Dobermans, it ain't gonna work. You
Well, I
can
will-
always take notes.
I will say this. I think, like I said, you go 40 years. If you're looking at an average of 12 guys per team, you're looking at about 480 players who've attempted to do what Champaign Central did this weekend. And because of that, not only do you have the town, but you got 480 guys who say thank you from the bottom of their heart for putting that back on the map. So whatever they do tomorrow, whether yes, indeed, Joe Tight Shorts, yeah, Joe Tight Shorts, man.
With the goggles?
See now, why
You
you
ain't been just telling me the story about the goggles.
and
You
you
got there
had,
looking like Kirk.
What about his sidekick with the afro, though?
You got there looking like Kirk
What
Ramos.
about his sidekick with the afro?
I got a picture. A guy faxed me all the way from Southern Illinois. He found it in the old Centralia 1981 holiday program and faxed it up. And the only thing I can say is, Lord, thank goodness for food, because we all weighed 150 pounds playing basketball, soaking wet. So, you know, we got a little better athletes today than what we had back then. But once again, thanks to the guys.
Did you play with the shorts with the buckles on it? That's all I want to know. You had the little belt buckle.
No, we got new uniforms.
That was the year before.
Right. My junior and senior year, we got new uniforms, is all I can tell you.
You out there playing with the John Stockton shorts?
No, I was playing in Beyonce shorts. They was shorter than John Stockton. Right, we need an upgrade on what we were wearing out there. But like I said, thanks to the guys for doing what they did.
Yep.
Now the championship game, not before we move on, we've got a public league championship. I know when IHSA went to this format, they didn't envision this happening. Normally, back in the day with the two-class system, the public league had their own public league championship, and the winner of that got to come downstate. Well, now with Simeon and Marshall both being in the Class 3A, that's who's going to square off tomorrow. Like I said, the past 2 years, Simeon has knocked Marshall out and put them into the third place game. You know, is payback 3 times the charm. Anybody got some prediction on what's going to happen tomorrow?
Marshall looked like the better team.
Simeon beat him earlier this year by 20 points
Yeah.
Okay.
in a holiday tournament.
Okay, so Simeon's got one up on them. Wayne says they look better team. Coach, you got any?
Simeon is the team to beat. I think Simeon
Yeah.
will come out.
Defending champs. Yeah. That's,
Absolutely.
yeah.
Yeah, I'll have to tend to lean to Simeon. I think one of the things, even though they played each other the past 2, now going into 3 years, they played in the semifinals in the 2A system, and now they're playing in the championship. You've got different personnel on both sides of the ball. I think it's the schools playing each other, but not the players itself. So it'll be an interesting game, but I think I'd have to lean towards Simeon going into this
Big
championship game. Well, final thing about high school sports. We've seen a lot of guys play in our day, but who is the best basketball player you've ever seen play Illinois high school basketball in the past 30 years?
Prejudice. You know I can't.
You can chime in.
15 years?
You if Cooter and Uncle Foot down there when they played on that red clay, if there's somebody you want to talk about down there in Kentucky, in Madison or Hopkinsville or Paducah, you throw them out there. We may have heard of it, you know. But back to Illinois though.
Honestly, I mean, you got to just think strictly high school. Don't think about after. Doc Lib, man. Marcus Liberty, he was a beast. I got to say Marcus Liberty, man.
Okay.
Personally, are we talking about hometown too? Or?
Oh, anybody. Anybody. Best player you've ever seen play high school basketball.
I'm going to have to say Myron Cockrell.
Okay.
Woo!
Myron Cockrell.
Yeah, Myron Cockrell really could fill it up. But we're going to go to these phone lines to start show off 328-8280. Caller, tell us your name, tell us where you're calling from, tell it like it is.
Hello?
Hello?
Hey, what's going on? It's Chicken Wayne.
What's going on, Wayne?
What's going on? So, for all the people that don't know, the best Illinois high school player in the past 30 years has been Ben Wilson out of Chicago.
True.
Ben Wilson.
Ben Wilson.
Yeah, he was tragically lost his life back in 1984.
That's correct.
Yeah, but he was a beast on the baseline.
He was the Michael Jordan that time.
Yeah. He was a good ball player. Simeon had come down, I think it was his junior year, and won the state title back then, and then he lost his life going into his senior year.
That's correct.
And I think that's the reason why all the players who come to Illinois wear the number 25 in honor of him.
That's correct. And that's because the parents, the school promised the parents that they would never retire their numbers.
Okay. Well, we appreciate the history. Anything else you want to add, Wayne?
That's it, man. Y'all keep up the good work, man. I appreciate y'all.
Thanks, man. Appreciate your
Wilson was
call.
supposed to be that final piece to the final line,
Okay.
but he tragically lost his life.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He was the last piece to that puzzle.
Yeah.
Yeah, he was definitely a good ball player. Now, for me, I got a couple of guys. First of all, and this is show my age on this one. If you guys ever heard of Jay Schuyler, used to play for Lawrenceville. Back in the 70s, Jay Schuyler could fill it up. He blonde, man, bleached blonde. If they had a three-point line, Jay Schuyler would have averaged over 50 points. Anybody who know what I'm talking about, give me a call, because right now I got folks staring at me like, who in the heck is Jay Schuyler? But you go back and look in your history books, you'll see Jay Schuyler was filling it up, like I said, putting about 30 in. Isaiah Thomas, point guard when he played at Westchester, he brought them down here. I think it was his junior year when they got down here to state, but they didn't win it. But Isaiah was another one of the ball players. But locally, as you indicated, Myron Cockrell could really fill it up.
Yeah.
You know, Bill Keaton was a heck of a point guard over
absolutely.
at Champaign Central. Over at Urbana, they've had a lot of guys over there. The Peacock brothers, Turk and Tyke Peacock, could really play ball. Russ Oliver, thanks, Dave. Appreciate that. Who could play. Ken Ferdinand, who ended up playing his collegiate career over at the University of Illinois. So there's been a lot of guys who played a lot of basketball. Ellie Mae, we've given you an opportunity to sit there and think about who played down there.
You know, I thought, man, I'm
Rex Chapman.
No, I have two.
Rex Chapman.
One of them in Kentucky, Bird Avery. He played for the Kentucky Colonels. He played with Boston Celtics. He could shoot anywhere.
Okay.
And the player up here, Keon Clark.
Keon Clark.
Keon Clark was a beast for Danville.
Yeah, he was. He took Danville
He was the
to,
windshield washer.
what was that, 93 or 94 when they
came
went?
to Seminole.
93, 94.
Okay. Yeah, Keon Clark was a good ball player there. But now, what high school did you go to when you were down there in Kentucky?
Went to all boys school.
Okay. Was it called all boys school?
Oh, it was a Christian school.
It was a Christian school.
Yeah.
Okay. And was there any classes down there in Kentucky or just?
Basketball?
Yeah.
No, I told you.
Oh, just one class. That's right.
I told you, Sweet 16, which is going on right now.
Okay. Well, this is your coach calling us right now. Caller, tell us your name. Tell us where you're calling from. Tell it like it is.
My name is Marlon. I'm calling out of Chicago.
What's going on?
Not much. One of the best high school players in the state of Illinois have been Ronnie Fields. He was the sidekick to Kevin Garnett.
Yeah.
Got lost in the wayside after a bad car accident.
Yeah, Ronnie Fields was a beast. I remember that Farragut team well. But then when they got here to the state tournament, they lost to Thornton and Ty Streets in the gang. Is that correct?
Yeah, and Ty Street, they had a will. They didn't have a superstar, but they had a team.
Eli.
Yeah, they had a lot of guys. Melvin Eli was on that team. Napoleon Harris, football player.
Randall on there.
Randall L was playing with those guys. So yeah, they had a lot of good athletes on that team. But Ronnie Fields was definitely a highlight reel himself. Him and Kevin Garnett really did some good things up there. Anything else you want to add, caller?
Not much, but let's keep up the good work. Like my man said, keep doing your thing.
Appreciate it. Take care. Yeah, like I said, there's some
Some good high school players, but I just can't relate to them.
you just can't relate to them. Is it because they play on wood? Is that your problem?
If they played on dirt, I can relate.
If their tennis shoes was red when they came off the court,
Red ball.
they had a good
PF
game.
Flyers.
PF Flyers.
Red Ball Jets.
Now, the reason why I'm riding you tonight, because it's your birthday. And y'all rode me like a Kentucky Derby thoroughbred last
Came
week.
in last place.
The show did whoop.
They cleaning up the arena,
And I'm still here. I come.
You gonna make it?
Woo! My jockey was about 400 pounds, and I had 8. But appreciate this conversation, like I said, on Illinois high school sports. But I'm sitting here wearing my orange and blue because tonight, Fighting Illini took on Purdue in the Elite 8 of the Big Ten tournament over in Indianapolis. Illinois pulled out a squeaker, 64-63 over Penn State. Chester Frazier with a nice inbounds cut. The most dangerous man, and coach should know. You'll tell him who's the most dangerous man on the court when they're taking the ball out of bounds.
Ooh, got to be Chester Frazier.
That's
They
it.
ran that play earlier, and he stepped in bounds too early.
Right.
He wiped off the basket, hit him with it again, and won the game.
Won the game, 64-63, beat Penn State last night. Team did it.
He ordered his chest dug out.
Yeah. That's that orange and blue Kool-Aid pumping through his.
Hey, let's do a show.
HGH
Let's come and do a
He
show
was-
tomorrow after
he
the
was-
semifinal game.
He was leaning forward like this when he was talking about everything else. He said, Lana, wow, yes. Chester Frazier. I'll have 2 of those. Give me a Chester Frazier over here. Frazier right here.
Yeah.
But then they took on Purdue tonight, and we know what happened with Purdue during the regular season. Purdue basically chested Illinois up on the defensive end and locked them up. Now we get to the tournament. It looked like the same thing was happening. Illinois was having a problem handling the ball, but a guy took off his Clark Kent outfit and came out and was Dimitri McCamey. And
This is
Dimitri
exactly what I said
went
happened. They
nuts.
played Penn State tough 2 times. Played Purdue tough 2 times. Lost in the last 2 minutes of all of those games. I said, in the tournament, anything can happen. Just stay there, and the table's going to turn.
Right.
Just turn it.
But you know what it was?
What was it? What was it?
People feel bad for the teachers, so he said, "Come on, guys,
Come on.
let them get a win."
Matt Painter.
Since we going to the tournament anyway, here we go.
Here we go.
So wait a minute. So, Bud, what you saying is that Matt Painter gave Bruce Weber a gift?
Yeah.
Woo.
Wow.
Wow.
So why did he keep it close enough for it to go to overtime? He could have
They keep all.
He could have
They keep
held his
the
players out the last 5 minutes of the game.
FBI out of the situation.
So, if there was any allegations of point shaving, I'm with you. I know how this system works. Now, Coach Kenny, you're looking at Illinois. They've had some serious problems this year from the free throw line, handling the basketball, like I said, in terms of turnovers, and then it just seemed like crucial mistakes at the end of the game. What do you think? Obviously, they've turned it around with these last 2 games. What do you think it's going to be to get them through the rest of the tournament? What do they have to do?
I'm not sure. I know one thing is that they just have to concentrate on playing good basketball.
Right.
I think that's the key. Concentrate on playing good basketball. Other than, they're going to have to come together and gel as a team and play good basketball. Other than that, any key player or any particular player, I can't just pinpoint. But I think as a team, if they come out and play good basketball,
Good team. They got
Yesterday
I think they
it
can
was
move
Randall.
forward.
Today was McCamey. Tomorrow's going to have to be somebody
right.
else.
That's why you
You
can't
got, in the
pinpoint.
tournament, it's got to be somebody every game.
Absolutely.
The same
It'd be
person
Wicks
is not
tomorrow.
going to do it.
Absolutely.
It'll be Wicks tomorrow.
Who? You did not say Wicks. Who is he?
They got Sony in the bench.
That's Hicks.
Him too.
Is that the guy sitting next to the guy that's sitting next to Hicks? Wicks. He was like, Wicks, get in there. Coach, you mean Hicks? No, Wicks. The guy past Hicks. Get on in there. I need a defensive stopper. Well, I'm at stop. Stop the conversation for a second. Go back to the phone line 328-8280. Is this Hicks or is this Wicks?
Hey, man, this is Ron Johnson.
What's going on, Ron Johnson?
Man, you guys are some good guys. I like your show. And I appreciate y'all sending me down to that barbershop, man. Them guys really made me down, man.
Well, Mr. Johnson, we're glad we could help. You know, being a new guy in town, we always try to help out those folks who come in just trying to find a nice. So the guys that cut above the rest, did they take care of you?
Man, they took care of me very well.
Did you sit down with Ernest Ricarlos or was it Tino?
Is that the guy with the lazy eye?
Yeah, Ernest Ricarlos.
That's Carlos. That's Carlos.
That brother's real cool. Real cool. But I'd like to say happy birthday to the gentleman to your right, the big fella.
Hey, thank you, sir.
Happy birthday. And I met the other guy over there to your left. Coach Kenny. I'd like to say congratulations for your first time on the show.
Thank you, sir. Thank you.
And you guys went to hell of a ball game today over there in Peoria this afternoon.
Did you have a rental car to get over there? Or did you take your own car?
No, Carpool with some guys.
Oh, God, I know the car you got wouldn't make it Muhammad.
No, buddy. I got a nice old Marquis.
You got a grocery getter, huh?
But I carpool with some guys, and we went over there and had a nice time, but them Central boys went on and choked at the end of the game. But they played a hell of a game.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah, but I give all hats off to that Simeon team.
Yeah. That's a good ball team that they'll be playing that championship tomorrow. Mr. Johnson, anything else you want to add, sir?
Man, you guys keep doing your thing, and God bless.
All right.
Appreciate you, Mr. Johnson. You keep hollering at Ernest Rick Carlos and those guys that cut above the rest. They'll take good care of you and your family.
I will do.
All right. Take care.
Tell you what, you get Ernest Ricardos and Acapulco Towns. Put them together, you got one good
You got one good guy, huh? Just tape them together. One on the left. Just say, got one on the right side, the other on the left side.
Come straight up.
Well, we appreciate Mr. Johnson calling us anytime.
Fastest cuts in town.
If you're sitting out there watching us and wonder what's happening here, we're just having a good time talking basketball on UPTV Channel 6. Tell it like it is. If you want to give us a call, hit us at 328-8280. Stack Girl, you still got an 8-call minimum, even though you're driving to Cancun. You know, you get your early start. You get out here tonight, you might get there by.
She had 4 now? 3, 4?
That's 24.
What?
Don't. Nah.
She had 51.
Is that how they keep traveling the banner?
She had 51 calls last week.
Right.
Yeah, I had a lot of calls.
Yeah, she used that same multiplier that IHSA used for private schools.
Well, you know, speaking of March Madness, man, there's some good
Conference tournaments,
going
man.
on.
It's
Man. Claude, have mercy.
Yeah, now, look, rest of the Big Ten tournament. Today, Michigan State pulled out a victory over Ohio State, and they're going to take on Wisconsin tomorrow. Illinois waiting for the winner of the Minnesota-Indiana game.
Yep.
Now, what would be more fitting, with the way the season is gone, for Illinois to get another shot at Indiana in Indianapolis.
On a neutral court.
EG's hometown.
EG's hometown. His daddy, he see if he can get off work from the shoe company to come over, and check him out. But, guys, first of all, preview tomorrow. Illinois, Indiana, Illinois, Minnesota. What would you prefer? And then what's the key?
I'm gonna tell you what I would prefer.
The bathroom around the corner.
Indiana.
Because the same thing that Illinois lost twice to Purdue and Penn State. We all know Illinois beat Minnesota twice.
Okay.
There you go.
So what you
give us Indiana.
You want Indiana. So what you're saying is that you don't want
Minnesota.
Okay, because it's tough to beat a team three times.
Yes, sir.
Absolutely.
Coach Kenny?
I would say give us Indiana. Give Illinois an opportunity to strike back. Eric Gordon came over here amongst the rowdy crowd here at Illinois and took a verbal beating, but ended up winning the game.
Right.
Give us a chance to strike back. I say Indiana.
Paducah?
It don't matter.
It doesn't matter.
They done.
So they done 2 and done.
Is Kool-Aid strong?
You know
right
what?
now?
Look, coming from you, that was done yesterday. So
Put a little water in, shake it up.
Say what you want to say.
It's
Coming
done.
from you, that was done yesterday, man.
Yeah.
I think matchup's sake, I think if Illinois plays Minnesota, it's a better matchup for them. Even though they've beaten them twice, I think they beat them a third time. Minnesota just has a tough time scoring on the offensive end, and I just don't think they match up well with Illinois. Playing against Indiana is going to be a very emotional game. Mm-hmm. I think Illinois would really like another shot at the Hoosiers. I don't know. Now that Kelvin Sampson is gone, though, kind of loses some luster. And I agree. Indiana's not playing well. And they're not playing that good on the defensive end since Sampson left. Offensively, I think it's one of those deals where they're still looking at Dan Dockage as the assistant coach. And I think that's where some of the issues are coming at. The transition happened so late in the season. I think it's tough for him to gain some of the respect of the players as being the head man. DJ White, Big Ten Player of the Year, Eric Gordon, Freshman of the Year. Those guys can fill it up, but I think that'd be a pretty good matchup, Illinois and Indiana. But I think it'd be better off if Minnesota pulled the upset tonight and helped Illinois out.
A lot of for Orlando Smith turned that program around up in Minnesota. You know his name, did you?
Oh, Tubby Orlando, huh?
Yeah.
I know it.
Well, he looked like Tubbs from Miami Vice, so that's either that or he is the Golden Gopher.
Yeah.
But and speaking of, you talked earlier about other conferences that are going on right now. You know, early preview to the NCAA.
UCLA still rolling. I told you that's national champs.
No.
Yeah, you did say that. I'm gonna turn now.
Turn who you want to.
Wayne,
Two more panelists.
first of all, NCAA, give me your 4 number 1 seeds that you're gonna hear on Sunday.
Illinois,
Memphis.
Illinois State, the one in Iowa.
Sure, definitely not Kentucky.
Right.
Right.
Right. Memphis, Carolina, UCLA. Nobody's out there.
Right.
Maybe Kansas if they win the Big 12.
Okay. Coach Kenny, you got any?
He hit those exactly right on the head. Definitely Kansas, Illinois, UCLA, and the last one is a toss-up. I'm not sure.
Well, I think Memphis is going to be a number 1 seed. They'll be the earliest upset.
Wow.
Yeah, they can't shoot free throws.
That's true.
I think Memphis's issue, and they'll find out in the second round,
Sweet 16.
is that they play a team that can control tempo and handle Memphis's press. If the game gets in the single digits in terms of Memphis having the lead in the second half, Joey Dorsey will do something. Like
That's your agent.
Who to keep
You his
business?
agent?
I'm his anti-agent. I'm Rodney Alexander's agent, but I'm the anti-agent for Joey Dorsey because it seemed like every time I watch him, when there's a crucial situation, he does the opposite of what he should be doing, and I think that's where he's going to be the Achilles heel, and also free throw shooting from Memphis. The other number 1 seeds, I think, like you guys said, UCLA out of the West, and then Tennessee, I think, will be the 4th seed.
That's mine too.
Yeah.
Tennessee, Memphis, UCLA,
In Carolina?
and Carolina.
Yep, that's who I got.
Another thing that could possibly hurt Memphis, the soft schedule, the soft, conference.
Right.
And once, like you said, second round, Sweet 16, anybody can beat them.
But whoa, if all cylinders are clicking, you in trouble.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
If they got a
Exactly
10-point lead with 5 minutes left, yeah.
Now, even though they're not one of my number 1 seeds, I think there are 2 teams to look out for. I think Coach Kenny said Kansas.
Absolutely.
Kansas has got all the horses in place. I think the guard play that they have is outstanding, and they got some big guys who can get
They
up
got
and
the
down the court.
best 5 in college basketball.
And I think what happened with them is especially an addition by subtraction. With Julian Wright leaving, I think that let Brandon Rush step up, and now he can be the man, the go-to guy that they've been expecting his entire career. So I think Kansas, another team that Princeton offense, but they got some horses on that team.
G-Tech.
Georgetown. They scored 17 threes last night. Roy Hibbert didn't score a basket, and they won by 19.
Got 4 rebounds. He's sitting over like this.
Right.
With
that look.
With his fro on tape.
Right. As he
bogus.
on the court
He
blinking.
go see Acapulco Town.
Right. He sure do. But we're going to go back to Stack Girl, 328-8280. Caller, tell us your name, tell us where you're calling from, tell it like it is.
So, this is Julian. What's up, man?
What's going on?
I want you to analyze for me the last 2 minutes of that Central Simmons game. I know you're a Warrior.
Oh, all the way. I'm a Maroon. Me and the guys were talking about that earlier, Julian, and it just a factor of Simeon's press was just overwhelming. Central just had some issues in terms of ball handling. They couldn't get the ball to the middle of the court, and I think fatigue was partly a factor due to the fact that Central only had a 6 to 7 man rotation. And Wayne had mentioned earlier, Stewart had banged knees with Simpson earlier, so he may not have been 100%. But I just think they hadn't seen that type of pressure from anybody all year. And to get that far into the state tournament, and then I think if Simeon comes out at the beginning of the game and presses like that, Central may be better prepared. But to flip the switch like that in the last quarter, I think you got to give credit to Simeon's coach for timing his press the way they did. Because once that started, it was just like a snowball.
Like no time to adjust.
Nope, going downhill. And
You got a senior-laden team with good guards. They're supposed to be better prepared for that.
yeah, but
I don't think the problem was the preparation. I think the problem was the actual play of of the players. They didn't handle the ball.
Yeah.
And then you got players running down the court kicking the ball out of bounds while they're dribbling. That's not coaching.
But you also got to remember they were under the magnifying glass and the bright lights of the state tournament. A team hadn't been there from Central in 40 years. And for those guys to get to that point and be just basically a half a quarter away from getting to the state championship, you got to say they did a great thing today.
Oh, yeah, they did a great job. But when you have it, they haven't been paying the really. They needed them to fall to the way with the new leadership and better ball control. It's just a little bit disheartening.
Yeah, I think immediately after a game like that, we get a lot of shoulda, woulda, couldas. But as the time goes on to heal the wounds, I think we'll look back and really appreciate the accomplishment these young men have had for us this season.
Oh yeah, it's a great season. Huh? What do you think the two top guys are doing?
Right now, it looks like all indications. I would say Verdell looks like is Minnesota bound. Would you say, Coach Kennedy, in terms of?
I'm not sure. I've heard some rumors that Kentucky was his number one choice. But
okay.
We don't know.
Right.
We don't know.
And what is it? April 16th is the start of the signing date. So he's still got a good 30 days to take in consideration. I know Oregon's looking at him. On top of, like Coach Kenny said, Kentucky and Tubby Smith's been down here a couple times in the past couple of weeks to check him out. So, it'll be interesting to see. Donald Stewart, I've heard anywhere from going the JUCO route, just based on the academic side, to Tennessee State, to even as far as Big Ten, Michigan State and Wisconsin are taking a look. So I think anything can happen with those two guys. This is probably one of the more interesting or intriguing recruiting processes because you've got two guys with talent at this level, and it's this late in the year, and nobody has a clue.
Yeah.
Yeah. So anything else, Drew?
That'll be all, man. Appreciate it.
I appreciate you calling, man. Take care.
You know what? Coach Kenny, AAU coach, isn't he?
Yes, he is. And with the final quarter of the show, like I said, we brought Coach Kenny on here. I know, first of all, we appreciate him sitting here and analyzing the Illinois game.
I'm having a good time. I really appreciate you guys for having me.
Not a problem, man. And now, it's just like if you go on a talk show like, David Letterman or something, he the comedians go out there.
He Paul Schaefer?
No, that's Kevin Eubanks. He's sitting over there, got his bass guitar. He's going to plug a note out. But at the beginning of the show, when we introduced Coach Kenny, we talked about the exploits, the fact that he is the head coach, varsity head coach over at St. Thomas More High School here at Champaign. But he also has he's the freshman coach. I apologize.
Freshman head coach.
Freshman head coach.
You gonna get the man fired?
No. We might get him a promotion. They might get called in office. James, is there something going on here? But he also has a AAU basketball team, Illinois Elite, and that's really what we brought Coach Kenny on here tonight. We wanted to talk to him about his program, let you guys out there in the viewing audience find out a little bit about what he's doing, how long he's been doing it, and the kids he's been working with, and get you some more details out there because AAU basketball is very prominent right now throughout the nation. A lot of guys are really getting some good looks due to the fact that they've had an opportunity to play AAU basketball. And here locally, Coach Kenny has taken that upon himself to bring some kids in and give them the same opportunity to do some traveling and play against higher quality teams. So, Coach, talk a little bit about Illinois Elite.
I've been involved with AAU basketball for 4 years. This is my third season with Illinois Elite basketball. We're based right here in Champaign. Just like you said, we give youth players the opportunity to go out and play all across the nation, not just stuck in one community or one town. We play against the top players around the world. So,
what age group are you working with?
The age group that I have right now is 15, 16, and 17.
Okay.
The 17U, of course, has my son on it. A lot of players from Centennial. I have some players from Central, players from all across the state of Illinois, Wilmington, Peoria, Chicago.
Not to cut you off, Coach, we can go to these phone lines real quick. 328-8280. Call and tell us your name. Tell us where you're calling from. Tell it like it is.
Johnny Dollar all the way from Champaign, Illinois.
What's going on, man? We're sitting here talking to Coach James Kinney of Illinois Elite AAU basketball. He's sitting here sharing some information with us about his Illinois Elite 15, 16, 17-year-old division AAU.
Sounds good, man. You know, James, he's a big guy in the community. He's trying to do good things. And, you know, as long as he gets appreciate the game, he'll get the better person, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay. Well, what can we do for you tonight, Dollar?
So, what do you think about that line victory tonight, Dollar? What's happening? Big man, what do you think?
ILL. Let me get it, Dollar.
Hey,
Come on, man.
Dollar.
Dollar. You ain't
Don't
true,
start
man.
here.
Dollar, you
Don't
not
start.
true, man. When I say ILL, you supposed to respond, man.
Don't tap.
Okay, there you
Don't
go.
tap the table.
Okay, there you go. Good one.
Dollar, we talked earlier about it.
Good one.
McCamey came into his own. I think Mike Davis obviously is giving some valuable minutes off the bench. And right now, I think, as everybody agrees, it's tough to beat a team 3 times. Illinois had 2 tough games against Purdue and Penn State through the regular season. So that's why I think they were able to pull the 3rd one out against both those teams. Tomorrow, they either get Indiana or Minnesota. What's your thoughts on that?
Well, I don't think it's a game. You know, I really do. But, you know, again, you need to rewind and tell like you need to take from a couple of weeks. I heard Big Wayne say Illinois will win the Big Ten tournament. And so far, it's looking good.
What is stick with your orange
Okay.
juice, brother?
Anything
Dollar?
else you want to talk about, Dollar? We about time to wrap it up. Cause you ain't talking about nothing right now.
Hey, Wayne.
Hey, Dollar, how about me and you do a show Monday night after the Big Ten tournament? After we get our seed for the NCAA tournament.
That sounds good, Big Wayne.
Okay.
Before I hang up, Wayne, you know, I want to say one thing. And make them hear ILL.
INI.
Later, fellas.
Peace.
Take care, man.
That's how it's done,
That
Bundy.
was so,
That's how it's
that was so
done, huh?
rudely interrupted.
Thank you.
That's how it's done,
You know,
Bundy.
James,
He was
Coach
a
Kinney.
caller. He wasn't interrupted.
We apologize for you know that small delay in the conversation we were having.
That's okay. That's
You know,
okay. That's okay.
But you were talking earlier about Illinois Elite, 15, 16, 17-year-old division. Where do you get your kids from, first of all, who play on your team?
Our kids come, I usually like to start with our local kids because sometimes our local kids are overlooked as far as other programs. And that's why I really started Illinois Elite, was to give our local kids an opportunity, like some of the kids in Chicago, to have gigantic financing and things like that. So we reach out to the community to help it make it happen for Illinois Elite basketball.
There's some ball players down here, man.
Yeah, we got some ball
We
players.
showing today, you know.
Yeah, we do have some ball players, and once we've done that, like I said, we're in our 3rd season. Last year, we beat some of the biggest teams in the nation. For instance, Mean Streets, you know, number 9 in the nation out of hundreds of teams.
Derrick Rose plays now, right?
Yes, like Derrick Rose's team. He was a year gone when we beat them, but they were still just as tough.
Yeah.
You know, so we combined a lot of players. You know, some Champaign. We have kids from Bloomington, Peoria, Chicago, Danville, and Springfield.
Okay.
And we've combined. We have a huge tryout. We've combined all those teams to try to come out with the best team possible to help us win. And then, of course, we have a staff that schedules tournaments and things like that, hotel stays and travel and all that good stuff. So,
Coach Kenny, do you, AAU sports is, you know, some people say it's overrated, some people say it's underrated. Do you think colleges look more to an AAU team and then listen to their high school coach? Would they listen to you before they listen to a high school coach?
it just depends on who the coach is. I mean, a lot of AAU gets bad rap because they say, you know, anybody can form an AAU team and go out there and just let guys run around and look silly, and a lot of people don't respect that. But then you have a lot of AAU programs that have good coaches who do coach at their high schools. And for instance, my case, or there's a lot of other guys out there that have respectable reputations as good coaches. So it just depends upon the situation. You know, it gets a good rap, it gets a bad rap. But I'll tell you one thing, if you do play AAU basketball, and basketball is something that you live for, it's one of your dreams, playing AAU basketball is going to make you a better player than not playing AAU basketball. I will tell you that. just because of the competition that you play against, during the course of your high school.
Now, this sounds like a large project to put together, and I know you can't do it just on your own.
Right.
Talk a little bit about the people who are behind the scenes that help you put this thing together, their names, what they do, etc.
Well, I have to give credit to my wife, Sandra Kinney. She's the secretary. She does a lot of work for us. She makes things happen behind the scenes that you wouldn't normally think of to make a program work. I have several assistant coaches. I have Coach Larry Jackson, who works with me behind the scene. He's the coach of the 16U team. I have David Williams, who is another excellent coach and referee at the same time, so he knows the game really well. I have another coach by the name of Brian Brown, who is an excellent coach, and not only coaches. I have people from all walks of life. Their fathers, their coaches, their brothers, their sisters. We have our staff is made up of real people.
Coach, where can they send the money to?
Where can they send the money to?
Yeah, that's what
they
you
can
need
send
to
the
get out
money
there,
to
man.
me. No, but seriously.
Where can they send the money to?
The money. It just depends on what program you with. If someone was going to be a part of our program, you would send the money to Illinois Elite Basketball, based here in Champaign, and whatever other
I
team.
know you're definitely looking for donations.
Absolutely. Any donors that want to donate to Illinois Elite Basketball, you can send
just saw my donor card.
any donations to.
How can
they don't
you
need
be
a kidney.
contacted? Any numbers or addresses or anything?
Yeah, you can
shoot that out over there.
You can actually contact us at www.illinoiselite1basketball.com right here.
That's too many words.
No, it's
Everybody
not.
can't get
No,
that,
it ain't.
man.
That is real easy.
Folks got DVR at home.
Also,
TiVo, they slow it
and
down, they
also,
play it back.
At the same time, to make it even more simpler, if you want to just call, if you want to contact me, and you can call me at area code 217-390-1891.
All right.
Okay.
Now, when does the season start? Where do kids try out? How costs and all that stuff?
Our tryouts started this year at the Brookings Administration Building in Urbana. That was 2 weeks ago, and we had 7 coaches all together. Each had evaluation sheets, and we evaluated each player. And then from then, we let players go right there at the end of practice that we did not feel that could help our team. So it's really cutthroat, but it's the way you have to do it in order to achieve the best players.
Hey, you was cutthroat league. That's how it started.
It's not part
You know how it
It's not part
started?
district.
Exactly.
You know how it started? Because your kid can make the team, so you got with Joe now, and you got your own team. That's how AAU came about.
Really?
Oh yeah, it's cutthroat, man. But to me, it's good, but some AAU sports like baseball and stuff, it runs the kids' summer. Kids play baseball 50, 60 games a summer. Yeah, it burn a kid out with some
But the
baseball.
thing about AAU is your choice, man.
Yeah, that's
Absolutely, it's your choice.
Your
If you
choice.
love it,
That's what you wanna do.
exactly. If you love it and that's what you want to do, then it's a good thing for you.
Now, you said you started a couple of weeks ago. Give us an idea in terms of some upcoming tournaments, scheduling, where you guys are going to be traveling.
We'll be traveling our first tournament. We take off to Chicago to the Chicago Spotlight. That's a weekend tournament coming up here in 2 weeks. After that, we head out to Arkansas, which is a weekend tournament that kind of bleeds into the beginning of the week. After that, we head down to Ohio. We go to the King James tournament down there. Then after that, we head back to Indianapolis to the May Classic. All huge tournaments. There'll probably be 150 coaches and scouts walking around in each event. So you have to bring your A game, get some recognition. Next thing you know, you got a coach handing you a card. Hey, contact me, or can I have your number? I need to contact
Now you have a tournament here in the summer, right?
Yes, we do have a tournament here in the summer. It is Illinois Elite Hoop Fest. Happens in Rantoul early May.
Early May.
Yes.
Well,
I got a question.
well, we're getting ready. I hate to cut you off, Big Wayne, but they're getting ready to wrap us up here. First of all, I want to thank Coach Kinney for coming on and telling us about Illinois Elite Basketball. If you need to contact them, the website, www.illinoiselite1.com. We're out of here.
All right.
They got it.
Thank you, guys. I appreciate it. I really appreciate it.
Let's go. Yeah. For those of you that want to know what we're all about, it's like this, yo. This is 10% luck, 20% skill. 100% concentration.